In this video, a bit of love for Myrtle and Matiz. I have some new Sachs shock absorbers or dampers, whatever terminology you want to use. I got these items to go on the back of Myrtle because she's getting a bit skittish at the back. You know, sometimes they put little bars of paint across the road to create a bit of a ridge to try and slow you down. And even when I go over those at the posted speed limit, if it's on a bend, I can feel the back end sort of hopping across the road, because as your dampers get worn, the tyre actually lifts up off the road, so it's not going to provide you much resistance to sideways movement that way. And given recent events with another car on the fleet, I think taming the rear end is probably something to do right now. So this is the replacement damper, and it looks fairly easy to replace. They're completely separate to the spring, so there's a spring and then a separate damper. But well, I'll show you. Let's head underneath. So it's a sort of dead beam rear axle, effectively, quite well located, and the damper is ahead of the spring. So there's the spring, and you can see the exhaust there, most of which has been replaced, and some of which is looking quite rusty already. Let's try to find a good view of the damper. It's quite tricky from here, but there it is, just beyond the spring. You can see the damper. So the wider part goes at the top. It just attaches to this bolt down here, and then another bolt up at the top. So I think wire brush and penetrating oil will be my first move. And I was thinking I was going to have to jack the car up, but actually I might even be able to do it without actually lifting the car at all. So yeah, penetrating oil and a wire brush definitely going to be needed here. There's a lot of surface rust. See, the powder coating is coming off on this beam axle here. It is due a visit to crown rust proofing, and so hopefully that will happen before winter. But yeah, good attack of things with a wire brush might not be a bad idea under here. Now, access is more difficult on this side because of what I assume is fuel tank breather. So I think I'm going to get the wheel off, especially on this side. There we go, we've got her in the air, and we'll get the wheel off and see what that does for access. I think it'll definitely improve matters somewhat. Incidentally, we may be stalling a bit on the old sit. We're getting quite close now, but I'm starting to think the charade should be the priority really, because without the charade, Miss Hubnut can't learn how to drive. So I've ordered up a whole load of engine bits, so we'll be giving it quite the engine overhaul, in the hope we can stop it leaking, or not leaking, burning oil quite so readily. But Myrtle's in for her MOT tomorrow, so this really is the time to get this done, and we'll give her a quick check around, make sure the lights are okay. I know she struggled with emissions last year, managed to get through, so we might have that issue again this year. The catalyst was replaced 3 years ago, but cheap modern cats don't tend to last very long, which is a bit annoying. Right, let's get some more penetrating oil on. Need to get a fresh can of this. It's the Bulldog BDX. That's the wrong one, you idiot. I'm mostly doing the ones that don't need doing. I'll give it a good soak in that, and a bit more on the bottom maybe. It'll be fun to get the wire brush on, but that is what we do next. Am I lying on the wire brush? No, I'll let the wire brush the other side. It's amazing what a difference a bit of penetrating oil and a wire brush can make. Now the rusty crud and everything, hopefully it'll make the difference today. Well, I can't actually get it in on that, so that's going to be fun. And where I've put the torch. Yeah, not massively accessible, but still, the more dust and road muck we can get off that thread. I can't actually get in on this bottom one with a wire brush, as you can see it's tucked in right here, but a bit of Scotch-Brite is still digging dirt out of the thread of it. So I'll give it another soak of penetrating oil, probably give it a hit with a hammer, and we'll be away. Well, I can use the wheel bar to get this. It turns out it's 17mm, I'm going back and forth a bit just to try and give it a fighting chance. Try and work the penetrating oil into it. So it's going back and forth quite nicely here, but then getting a bit stuck. It goes further back in. Oh, thank goodness for ratchet spanners. There we go. That is our nut out, or bolt out rather. Now we just got to do the same on the top. The old one is out. Getting at the top mount, not particularly easy, but yeah, that's not bad that way, but that way, nothing at all. Let's see how the new one compares. Okay, that's like the ones on Fox Ant. So there we go. Hopefully that means that'll be better. We shall see. Made in Mexico. They seem a little bit physically larger, but the bushes are the same size, and I think, yeah, the shackle at the top is bigger, but it is the same width, so it should still fit. So I'm going to give that a go right now. This one is proving hard work. I have to just keep going with the breaker bar. I can't get it to move freely at all. It's officially started going a bit Hubnut over here. Sorry, my light is packed up, so it's all a bit dark and gloomy. But what's happened is the bolt has seized onto the bush inside this shock absorber. So it was so hard because I was turning the rubber. Even worse than that, it won't come this way, the bolt, because it's stuck in this bush. So it's actually been pushing out this side of the bolt because something had to give. So as it was unscrewing, it's actually twisted this out of the way slightly. So the bolt's no longer through there or in here, but the bolt still won't come out. I've had this before on 2CVs and it's an utter pain, but at least you can get at the pin, you can attack it with all sorts of things to try and get the shock absorber off. You can even remove the pin from the car quite easily. This is turning into a bit of an ordeal. Well, that wasn't entirely successful then. We have changed one shock absorber and I'm going to have to leave the other one to the garage when they do the other work. As a wheel bearing they're probably going to sort out as well. So I just haven't got time at the moment. Just to update this one, she has been for an MOT. It did not go well. So because it's windy, I'll talk through this in the car. Sorry, I'm recording on the phone. I've just been to pick the car up. So the repair immediately, emissions a problem. I knew there were a bit of a struggle last year, so I was kind of expecting that. Whether that's because cheap aftermarket cats are rubbish, as he seems to think, or because we've still got an underlying issue, hence that somewhat iffy idle, I don't know yet. We'll have to find out. So yeah, carbon monoxide content awful. Brake pipes excessively corroded, the front to rear, the near side rear, the offside rear and the offside front, but I think we might as well just replace all the brake pipes. And then we've got some monitor and repair if necessary. These are the advisory items. Another brake pipe corroded, covered in grease or other material. It's the near side front. Suspension component mounting prescribed areas corroded but not considered excessive. That's basically both rear radius arms are on the crusty side. And the rear axle, it's a dead beam rear axle, I might have explained earlier, is corroded but not considered excessive. That's true, it looks like it's been parked in the sea. And brake prescribed area is corroded but not considered excessive. That's both rear brake back plates. So these are things to do. Both the rear tyres. Oh, gold! I forgot that. No, we've got a near side rear tyre worn and legal limit, and the same on the offside front. That's a fairly new tyre, and I can't remember if I sorted the tracking out since that. I think I'm just going to have to get the tracking checked again, and might be a full set of tyres this time. So there's a considerable expense here. Front cross member also corroded, not considered excessive. So there's an awful lot to do to make this car good again. But at least with advisory items like that, you're like, okay, I haven't got to do that now, but I really do need to think next year that probably needs sorting out. And we've done the sills this year, so that was the major expense. on Myrtle this year. It looks like there's going to be a bit more for the MOT, and then we can get her sorted. So steadily restoring my Daewoo Matiz. There can't be many people in the world who are saying that, but that's where we are. I'll just jump in with an addition to my addition. The garage also replaced the near side rear shock absorber. I don't know what their techniques were, but they got that bolt out, swapped it over. Driving experience somewhat transformed. There is a bump, it's got ridges across the road to try and slow you down. And when you hit those in Myrtle, and only Myrtle, the back end tended to skip across. I've been over them this morning and it's absolutely fine. But yeah, Myrtle will now have a retirement until this all gets sorted out. So I'm going to re-end this video because I think I've already recorded an ending. And yeah, we'll sort out what we can when we can. But it's going to be a while because they can't do the work for a while. And I don't think I'm going to attempt that work myself. That is quite the to-do list. But I shall say, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget you can head to the Hubnut store and buy lovely merchandise. I am tasking my designer with coming up with a Myrtle design, so hopefully that will come along soon. And look forward to seeing you in a future video. Farewell!